This is your teacher Haris Bhatt, and you are seeing my YouTube channel, Learn Accounting with Sir Haris. Today we are going to solve question from A-2-Accounting, International Accounting Standards, again, IAS, and the question from October-November 21-31. So this is October-November 21-31. This is a technical question of International Accounting Standard, but it is not that difficult. But it has a certain part which relates to computerized accounting system. So computerized accounting system is not that tough, you must say, because it has normally the examiner used to ask in the exam that what are the advantage and disadvantage of computerized accounting system. So we used to tell the advantages like speed, accuracy, time, quick access to the records, large data can be stored, and disadvantage like anyone can access the data, right? Then viruses can be done. They should be firewall and other things which matters. Security threats will always be there. So these kind of things we have to manage. So next is going to be, so that's the first question. DW Limited is a small manufacturing company and which seeks to implement the requirements of National Accounting Standard. Its financial year ends on 31st December. At the end of 2019, the director decided to replace the manual accounting system with a computerized one. At the beginning of 2020, the company bought the computer equipment and the software and sent staff on a training course. Answer the following question. The question paper questions are printed here too for reference only. Outline the next steps the company needed to take to implement the computerized accounting system. Your answer should consider the need for both accuracy and security. So obviously, what you will do, you will go for a firewall. Whenever the new system is going to be implemented, the computer equipment, you have to go for a firewall so that the security threats should be minimized. Then again, you have to run the computerized system along with the manual system, because the computerized system may not be that vigilant or the employees are not that much trained. So you have to keep the backup. The backup should be important. So this is the first time that they have, the examiner has asked us to write the steps to convert the manual system into computerized accounting system. Though normally this is not a main part of your course, but now it has come in the paper and 8 marks are there. So it means that you have to give at least 8 points to cover it, right? So the company must need to select a specific date for the transfer. Means whenever the manual system is transferred to the computerized accounting system, you have to fix the date. Secondly, the opening balances from the manual accounting system should be transferred to the computerized accounting system. So we should not forget to write the opening balances. Then I discussed that the manual accounting system should run along with the computerized accounting system so that we should have a proper backup. Then the location of the equipment, the physical location of the equipment should be checked. There should be certain security or privacy available for that particular purpose. We have to also see that either the manual system is properly up to date, like it has been audited or it has been verified or verification procedures have been done. Because unless the manual system is not accurate, we are going to convert it in the computerized accounting system. So we should be very clear that we have done enough in the manual accounting system and that is showing a true and fair view so that it can be converted into computerized accounting system. Because the data you are going to enter for the first time, the computer will take the data accordingly. And the computer will proceed, the procedure of computer equipment or the software will run according to that data. That should be accurate. Then you have to go for set up the password for the new system. And password should be given to only 1% or 2% who are very core part of the management. Then you have to go for a virus scan or firewall should be there to protect the equipment. So these are the steps which you used to take for the computerized accounting systems. For opening balance should be entered, and accurate names should be given. As we discussed that the manual and both systems should be run separate together, so that we can find out if there is some errors in the computerized accounting system, because the employees are still not that trained. It is a new thing you are going for the data, and backup should be there. Then when you are satisfied, then you can discontinue the manual system and you can start the computerized system. So these are the steps. We can opt other such steps also free. This is not the only steps we can go for. You can make any other steps which comes into your mind, which assist you to transfer the manual system to the computerized accounting system. So that is a general procedure we adopt. The procedures or the process, that is not a part of our course. So additional information, the company accountant prepared the draft income statement for the company for the end of 31st December. When the finance director reviewed he thought that it might contain errors, he identified 5 areas where he thought an error might have occurred. These were as follows. The staff training had cost 5,000. Since the employees of the company usually stay with the company for about 10 years, the accountant decided to charge 500 for expense for staff training each year for 10 years starting in 2020. So remember that the training cost should be treated as an expense. It is not treated as an asset, right? Why? Because the training is basically, if we talk about the money measurement concept, the training cost is basically cannot be determined in terms of money. But as the amount has been given, so we are supposed to charge all the amount, all the staff training cost as an expense rather than treating it as an asset. Full cost should be written off when incurred. It will not be capitalized. It means that we have to subtract 4,500 more from the current year profit. Profit is not given, but we just have to give the treatment of these particular points. How, sir? Let me make you see. Complete the table given in the question paper to show the effect of the correction of errors on the draft profit for the year. Right here it is given. Let me make you see those. Here. Training, dollar, and the explanation. Then vehicle, machinery, inventory. So all the items are given. 15 marks are there, and you have to just give the correction. But what should have been done? Because the profit has not been given to you in the question. So obviously you have to subtract 4,500 more from the profit, but because profit will decrease by 4,500. But profit is not given, so we have just to give the effect of the correction. Because 500 already been charged. The training cost should be treated as an expense. It can never be capitalized. An impairment review had considered vehicle with a carrying amount of 72,000. It found that their fair value was 67,000 and their value in use was 65,000. So fair value and value in use, the higher of fair value and value in use is the recoverable amount. The recoverable amount is 67,000. Carrying amount is 72,000. So 72,000 minus 67,000, we will be having our 5,000 is our impairment loss. Recoverable amount. So impairment loss was basically 5,000. The accountant included an impairment loss on vehicle of 7,000 in expenses. Unfortunately, we have recorded an impairment loss of 7,000. So what we are supposed to do? Yes, we have to increase the profit by 2,000 because the impairment loss is 7,000 or 5,000. Recoverable amount is 67,000. Carrying amount is 72,000. So impairment loss is 5,000, but we have recorded 7,000. 2,000 more expense has been written, so we have to add it back in the profit. Next, impairment review had considered machinery with a carrying amount of 98,000. It found that its fair value was 81,000 and its value in use was 1,02,000. So obviously fair value 81,000 and value in use 1,02,000. Higher of the two is going to be your recoverable amount. So that is 1,02,000 is going to be your recoverable amount, and the accountant included an impairment loss on machinery of 17,000 in expenses. So there is not going to be any impairment loss because of the reason that the carrying amount is less than the recoverable amount, right? So there is no impairment loss because the carrying amount is less than the recoverable amount. So 17,000 loss, which is recorded as an expense, will be added back to profit for the year. So profit will increase by 17,000 because there is no loss. No loss should be recorded because there is no impairment loss actually. I repeat again, the recoverable amount is higher of fair value and value in use. So 81,000 and 1,02,000. 1,02,000 is going to be the recoverable amount, which is more than the carrying amount. Impairment loss is the loss in the value of non-current asset by which the carrying amount is more than recoverable amount. Here, recoverable amount is more than carrying amount. So there is no impairment loss to be recorded. 17,000 will be added. Water damage had destroyed, point number 4, inventory costing 8,000 on 5th January. The accountant took this loss into account when preparing the financial statement. This is a non-adjusting event according to IS 10. This is a non-adjusting event because the water damage has destroyed inventory on 5th January. So there is no, this is indicative of event which arose after the balance sheet date. So this is a non-adjusting event and it will not be recorded in the books of accounts. So 8,000, we will increase the profit by 8,000 because it should not be recorded as a loss. The premises had been revalued upward by 28,000 at the year end. The accountant omitted to record this. Right? It has no effect on the profit because revaluation does not affect profit at all. Right? It is asset of premises will be increased and revaluation reserve is going to be credited, which is the capital reserve. So profit will not have any effect on that. Okay. So these are the steps which have been taken for October, November 21-31. So easy question was there. It's not a difficult question. The part C is explained why the errors corrected in B had not been caused by the computerized accounting system. It is basically because of the accounting procedures which we have adopted in the wrong way. It is not because of the processing of data. Computerized accounting system can have errors which is because of the processing of data. It is because of the wrong accounting procedures adopted by the people, by the management, by the accountant. Right? That is the errors made by the data input rather than processing errors. So that is not the computerized processing errors. It is because of the wrong data input by the management because they have applied the wrong accounting methods. Accounting IS has not been adopted properly. So this is how the artificial intelligence will work but accountant's role will still play. It's not possible. The highest authority of the accountant, which comes regarding the decision making, will still rest with the accountants. Only the bookkeeper work will be done by the computerized accounting system. That is the bookkeeping work. But the whole procedures needs to be checked by in the same manner. So artificial intelligence hasn't yet that much effectful in accounting. Maybe in the future, upcoming years, it will, but currently there is nothing like this. Okay. So this is how we have done this particular. That is will be the data input. That is going to be the errors in the processing of data. In the processing of data, that one amount can be entered. Maybe amount has been entered wrongly, or it has been calculated wrongly. We have to give a formula for addition, but we have given the formula to the computer as subtraction. These kind of errors. But this is not the processing error regarding the computerized accounting system. This is basically the data input error because we have to give the right method to adopt by the computerized accounting system. Because we have to just enter the right data in the computer, and then the computer will process it accordingly. So I have done this question for you. One more question we will solve. There is another question which we need to solve. It's quite easy. So you have to do this question also. October, November 1933, and this is also October, November 1932. These are all related with IS. inventory, trade receivable, other receivable, total assets, corrected figure for the following. This has come in May, June 1932. So May, June 1932, you have to solve also. So now we are going to solve a question from International Accounting Standard. That is question 1, which has come in the exam A2 Accounting, October, November 23, 31. October, November 23, 31. So let's see. The CB Public Limited Company is a company with 4 lakh ordinary share of $2 each in issue. The director of CB met to discuss the draft financial statement for the year ended 31st December. These shows a draft profit for the year of 148250 is the profit. But the finance director stated that the following matter has not been taken into account when preparing the draft statement. When it has not been taken into account, it means that we have to give an impact on the adjusted profit. There is no corrected balance sheet or statement of financial statement to be prepared in this question. You just need to go for the correction of the profit, and that's it. So for 148250, you can write, because you have to correct it. So you can write like here 148250, and you will go with the adjustment of this profit to find the corrected profit. Let's see. The 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, these examples are given, and the examiner has asked to solve to give the answer for the adjusted profit. So let's start studying it. The company had been notified of impending legal actions being taken by 2 satisfied customers. The first customer was seeking damages of 8,000, and it was estimated that the legal action had a 40% chance of succeeding. First customer was seeking damages of 8,000, means that he has basically occupied a legal action against us, right? Because they are dissatisfied. So we have to pay damages. So one of the customer has gone asking us for damages of 8,000, and that the legal action had a 40% chance of succeeding. So this is basically a you can understand. We will not record it in the accounts because it is a contingent liability. It will be recorded according to IS 37. It will be recorded as a contingent liability because it is possible. It is only possible, not probable, because less than 50% chance is there that a liability is going to arise in the future because of past event, depending upon the happening of an event, not under the control of the entity. So this is according to IS 37, this is a contingent liability, will be written as a footnote in the balance sheet. Second customer, 12,000 damages are there, and it was estimated that legal action had a 67 chance of succeeding. So 67% chance of succeeding means that it is more than 50%. So we will record it as a provision. Provision is a liability for uncertain time and amount. It is probable that we have to make this payment in the future, and amount is also estimated reliably. So we will record it as a provision. Yeah. So 12,000 will be subtracted from here because it is damages. So I will subtract 12,000 as damages because we have to show the, and it will be subtracted from profit, and definitely it will also be recorded in the other payable as current liability. It will be added in other payable as current liability. Like the last question we had done, where I have say it added, but I have written subtracted. A credit customer who had owed the business 4750 and the unit has gone out of business, and the company now expected to receive only 0.2 per dollar owed. Again, the same point, this is an adjusting event. Okay, Farid, this is an adjusting event. So what we are going to do, 4750 multiplied by 0.8, that is going to be our loss. We will record it as a loss. We will adjust our profit accordingly because this is an adjusting event, because evidence of condition exists at the balance sheet date. Because it was always there that he is going to go out of business. Mean at the end of the year, he was not planning to continue, and only 0.2 has been received. So 0.8 will be treated as bad debts, which is 3,800. And again, it needs to be subtracted from the draft profit for the year 3,800. I'm not solving it because of the reason that it is just a calculation. You can do that at home also. A review on 31st December had indicated that one of the vehicle had a value in use of 17,500, but could be sold for only 16,500. Its carrying amount is 21,500. So recoverable amount is higher of carrying amount, value in use and fair value. That is 17,500. 21,500 minus 17,500. So 4,000 is going to be the impairment loss, and it needs to be subtracted from the profit for the year because these adjustments have not been taken into account. 16,500. Why? 16,500 is the fair value. A review has indicated nothing has happened. That company well had a value in use of 17,500 and could be sold. So that is the fair value minus cost to sell. So higher of fair value minus cost to sell is the recoverable amount, and carrying amount is more than the recoverable amount. So that is going to be the impairment loss. Next, let's see. The next point is point number 4. The premises had been revalued on 1st January from 4 lakh, 50% land, 50% building to 6 lakh 40,000, 60% land and 40% building. Depreciation for the year for the building, which is calculated at a rate of 2% per annum, had been calculated on the original value. Means that we have calculated depreciation on 2 lakh, 4 lakh, 50% land, 50% building. So the depreciation was, we have recorded depreciation 2 lakh into 2%, that is going to be 4,000, right? Which is wrong because we should have calculated depreciation 6 lakh 40,000. Now the revalued amount on 1st January and 40% of 6 lakh 40,000, what will become? How much is the 40% of the 40% of 6 lakh 40,000? That is 2 lakh 50,000 is now the should have been the value of the building, and we should calculate 2% of 2 lakh 50,000. That is 5120. So the depreciation should have been charged 5120 rather than 4,000. So we have to subtract more depreciation in the books from the profit, that is 1120. So this is how we have done that. Last point is goods with a cost of 2,600 and a selling price of 5,100 were held by a credit customer on a sales or return basis at the year end. These goods had been treated as being sold when the draft financial statement had been prepared. मैंने AS में पढ़ाते हैं बच्चों को बताता हूँ कि ये पॉइंट जो कि AS का है, but this will continue in A2 also. This is known as sales or return basis. So we are going to give effect two types of effect. Sales has not been occurred, so actually we have passed the entry trade receivable to sales. Now we will reverse the entry sales to trade receivable. So sales are going to be debited with 5,100. So profit will decrease by 5,100. And closing inventory to cost of sales 2,600. We have to add 2,600 to find the corrected profit, right? Because of the reason that closing inventory needs to be added back. So the entry will be closing inventory debit, and cost of sale is going to be credited with 2,600. So no effect have been given regarding the balance sheet, only cost of sales is credited. So I will add cost of sales in the profit because it is credited. And the second entry is sales to account receivable with 5,100. So sales are debited, trade receivable. So debit and sales will obviously decrease the profit. So what is the corrected profit now? If you can tell me after whole calculation. 3,148,250 minus 12,000 minus 3,800 minus 4,000 minus 1,120 minus 5,100 plus 2,600. So what is the corrected profit? That is going to be, yes, that's true. 124,830 is the corrected profit. 124,830 is the corrected profit. Okay. The second part, the B part and C part of this question, basically they are related to ratios actually. So I'm not going to solve those parts because we are discussing only A2 accounting, topic of international accounting standard. So we are done with that. Inshallah, all the lectures are available on my YouTube channel. You can see from there, you can get benefit regarding this particular topic, which is the most complex topic of our syllabus. Thank you very much. Allah Hafiz.